Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Miyuki and this is Let's Make Art, and we letter together as a community every week, and you are here for our final project of our May box, where we were doing black paper, so many fun different colors. This one, we're going to be lettering on envelopes for this project. So on the back, these are actually envelopes. They look like paper, but I promise you they're envelopes. So
the black one looks like a tuxedo.
Keenan likes that one.
That's nice.
We're going to do that as well. I was gonna say, if you have envelopes, go and grab those. If you have our box, go and grab those as well. But you can do this entire project with whatever supplies you have. The actual products that I'm gonna be using are, let me write on the back of these. So I'm gonna use both black and white envelopes. And the pens are, there's a couple different jelly rolls. This is the blue, the Moonlight brand. And this brand is great because it shows up on black paper. Oh, that needs to start to work. That is rose. And then green. And we'll be using the white. I'm just gonna draw it, but I know you can't see it. The white. And for this black tuxedo part that Keenan likes, we're gonna be using our silver Fudebiore. I was gonna say Fudenosuke.
Yeah,
I'm
used to that one too.
Fudebiore, the Zig brand. So those are the supplies I'm gonna be using. There are 5 steps that I wrote down. 1, Keenan made this one up. Choose envelope. Gotta
Check.
choose an envelope.
Yeah, you gotta choose one. White, black, you gotta choose one.
Then where's my example? Here we go. Then we're gonna do the lettering. Then what I'm gonna do is step 3 is I'm gonna show you how to make this thick and thin lines. And then this one on Katie's is I'm gonna show you an example how you can add some texture and some pattern to it. So that's step 3. Step 4 is I'm gonna show you how to do the shadows and then add the pattern and the art around both of these. And then step 5 is put a stamp on it, put it in the mailbox, and mail it away to the recipient. So step 1 is I want you to letter. What I want you to do first, take a deep breath and remember that this does not need to be perfect. We're not trying to make this perfectly centered. You are creating this to give to someone that you care about. And so the fact that you took the time to do this is what the person will feel. They're not going to be judging you. So I want you to get out of your own way for that part. Now, what you can do is you have a couple options. If you feel more comfortable, go and grab either. You can use a pencil, you can use a white pencil is what I've been using. If you feel more comfortable with that, sketch it out first. You can do that as well. I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna show you and show you that you don't have to worry about it being so perfect for the reason that we're gonna fill it in and fill the negative space so your eye won't be so focused on that. So I'm gonna write Taylor and Kyle. So I chose just to write their first names and I'm gonna write it. So when I'm thinking about this, if you want to have it be a little bit centered, one tip that I can give you is to start a little bit to the left. So you don't need to start all the way over, but if you think about it, if I were to start her name right here, then if I wrote it, then there'd be a lot of room over here. So I'm gonna help myself out, kind of come a little bit here. So maybe like a 1/4 over. So I'm gonna start writing it. And if your pen doesn't work like mine isn't, it's okay. Sometimes they're funky. I swear, I don't know why, but the pad of your finger, or just the skin, I think it might be part the oily part and the smooth part, and I dot a little bit, will help get it going. So I'm going to write her name. Again, I'm not so worried about a line. Am I in an okay spot?
Yep.
Okay. So Taylor and Kyle. So if you look at this, if I were to look at that, I'd be like, oh, dang it, I didn't center that. That's okay. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna write their address, and start it right here. And then I'll kind of fill in that space. So this, I wanted to prove to you that it's okay that it's not centered. So I'm just gonna write it out. What I chose to do is I did their names in a script style. And then gonna write it over here, and then I'm doing the address in a block style. Oh, I forgot to mention, Keenan, do you want to mention the zip code?
The zip code? Oh, you could either put the zip code on the same line as the city and the state, or you could put it below.
Any of those options.
And you could space it out so it goes the same length as the city and state.
Look at all that he's
Very
like.
nice aesthetic look. It just depends on what you like.
Yes, there's so many options. Okay, so I'm gonna do that one, and then I'm gonna take the white one. I'm gonna do these at the same time so we can double down. Is that helpful? I'm trying to think what's helpful.
Double down?
If I do them both at the same time, or should I do this one first and then this one? What you feeling?
Ooh, I like both at the same time.
Okay, double down.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the same thing, but for this one, I'm gonna choose to make her name a lot bigger. So you can see the difference. It's not that big actually, but her name is a lot bigger, and then the address is a lot smaller. So I'm gonna make Katie's name a lot bigger. Katie is our social media gal. You've probably interacted with her. She's awesome. So I'm gonna write her one. So for this one, I chose to do her name in all caps. Pretty simple. I just wrote out her name, and then I'm gonna write the address really small.
I actually think of Katie as a pretty great voice for the people she interacts with.
Yeah?
She gives us a lot of good feedback on what our viewers think.
Yeah, she really knows you guys. So
Yeah.
I'm sure if you were talking to someone, you can say, hi, Katie, and I'm sure she'll be like, hi. That would make her day.
That would make her day.
And now you know how to spell her name. I like how she spells it differently.
I call her Cade.
I like it. Okay, so those are the first steps. Now, I'll do this. Well, no, I'm going to do this one because it's go in the same order. Now, if you're looking at this, can you notice how the lettering looks different? And the reason why is that I am going to teach you a style called foligraphy. So the reason why as I'm looking at this is there's thick lines and there's thin lines. So it makes it pop a little bit more. And so there are a few worksheets, this one. There are a few worksheets that I wanted you to know about that you can pause and go through. This is one you can get for free. It's on our website at letsmakeart.com under the Learn section, and you find this project. And what I did was I drew out them in a script style if you wanted to practice that. And then you'll see that there's dotted lines here, and that's when you would add the thick downstroke. So the concept is thin on the up, thick on the down. So whenever my hand is moving down, that's when you'll see a dotted line. So if I were to fill this out, so if I go thin on the up, thick on the down. So I realized I said that, but I wasn't thinking about pressure on that one. I just wanted to tell myself, okay, I'm going down here, so that means when I see this dotted line, I'm gonna draw a line there, I'm gonna overlap over that dotted line, and then I'm gonna fill this in. So that way, this stroke becomes thicker. So the same thing as here is my hand was going down in that direction, so that's why you see that dotted line. So I'm gonna add a line to make that stroke, just that stroke thicker. Like that. So that's how you create that effect, and that's called faux calligraphy. So you can go through this, and then the other part I wanted to show you is that this is one of our beginner lettering series that you can also go through. I believe it's number 10. It's towards the end of our beginner lettering series. And that's another video that goes through this a little bit more, so you can start to gain some muscle memory with that if you want to pause and watch that as well. But the concept, like I was saying, is the same that I'm going to use here. So when my hand was going down, which is here, I'm going to make this stroke thicker. So I'm going to do that by adding a line, and then I'm going to color that in. So thin on the up, thick on the down. And what's a little bit different is because these letters are so small, rather than the other ones are a little bit bigger, I'm basically just overlapping over this line. So when it's thick, I'm just drawing another line right next to it. So I'm just kind of overlapping it just to make it a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to leave the other parts. So thin on the up, thick on the down. So you think about it as coloring your thick lines. So if you need to talk to yourself, it totally works. Thick on the down, thick here. So you'll start to see your letters pop a little bit more and create some shape. So you can see that I just kind of overlapped it. And then if you want, what I like to do sometimes is I'll just take it one more stroke and I'll actually overlap the whole thing. So that way it just smooths out the transition. I'm not making any line really thicker. I'm just literally tracing right over it just to smoothen it out. Oh, and I smeared that. That's totally okay. That may happen to you. Okay, so now I'll make that into some stars. It's some stardust. But I just got everywhere.
Stardust, I like that.
Is you can do the same technique if you have a block style lettering. So you can see that I did that here as well. So that's why this looks a little bit different than this. So I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna add a thick line to the downstroke parts. And the cool thing about these gel pens is that they really glide. So I know you might not be able to tell, but I'm not pressing that hard. You don't have to press very hard on these. They'll glide across the paper. Kind of overlapping. And again, if you're wondering which lines do I make thicker, you can either reference the sheet that I have, or you can kind of talk to yourself and ask when your hand is moving down. Okay, so that's that one. So now I'm going to take the same concept, but for Katie's name instead, is to create this texture. What I did was I thought the same thing. Okay, when am I going down? So I'm going thick on the down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that line, that thicker stroke, but instead of coloring in, I'm going to leave it open. So right there, so thin on the up, thick on the down, so I'm going to leave that open, thick, thick. So on a curve, it's like that.
Question.
Yes.
I know you've answered this question before, but I can't remember, and it might be helpful for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
For the letter T or E, for the horizontal lines, do those generally stay thin, or do you ever make them thicker?
I tend to keep them thin. It is a 100% personal preference. I like to have the variance of it, because if I were to make it thick, then the whole letter would be thick. So by having a little bit of mixture, that's why I chose to do that. But you can totally do it if you'd like.
Perfect.
Good question. So I left that open, and now what I'm doing, all the open spaces, so instead of coloring in, I'm going to just draw some lines inside that shape, that open shape. So you can have fun with this. Maybe you do a zigzag line. You can mix it up. Maybe your lines are horizontal. Let's see what else you could do. Dots. What else can you think of? You could do X's.
I think like shoelaces.
That one?
Yeah.
It does look like that. You can also, gonna say, it might be kind of random. Maybe I'll do it here. You can add another color to her name.
Ooh, that's cool. You could do horizontal lines, dot, 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 horizontal lines. Mix up the patterns in one stem.
Oh, do both?
Yeah.
You totally can. Okay. Now, did you see what I did? I put the wrong cam. I was confusing myself. Okay. I am actually, I'm just going to leave it so you can see the difference, because I want to show you that either one works. So in this one, I did the faux calligraphy technique, and that's why that has a little bit of a denser feel, whereas this one's a little bit lighter and airier. So they each work. So I'm going to leave that for this one, actually. Now, we're going to have fun with the border. I'm just going to go for this one while I'm at it. I realized on this one I had made her name a little bit smaller, but I'm still going to make it work. So I'm going to envision a border around, but I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw, my eye just kind of saw this negative space, so I thought, okay, what if we filled it with some leaves? So I'm going to draw a leaf in this corner, a leaf. Just draw two curves, so a curve and a curve to make an almond shape. And then I'm gonna draw a line in the middle. And then I'm gonna draw the veins. So I'm just going from the middle to the outside, kind of curve it going up. Then draw the stems. My flowers, my abstract flowers are just basically little curves like that. And then what I want to do is I want to encompass her whole address and her whole name. So I'm going to draw a line, then I'm going to round the corners. That was just a personal preference. You don't have to round the corners. I'm just going to round the corners for hers. Come back around. So draw one line first, and then it's easier for me to do this. So now I'm going to draw another line with a little bit of space in between. So it's going to create a similar look as this, where it's the open space. So I'm just following this line parallel. Curve around. Like that. Then you could, again, either choose to leave that, or you go in and do the same thing. Add your pattern to the border. So this is a fun way to jazz it up. You can mix it up like Keenan was saying and do lines. You can do dots. That actually looks really cool to do both, or all of them.
Mm-hmm. It also makes me think of a name tag.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It totally does. Okay, so sorry, I hit my mic. That bothered you guys. We're done with that one. So that's a fun way that I know you can do that. Now, going back to our black one I'm gonna make it a constellation. We already have the stardust from my white mess up. So I'm gonna add some stars. So I'm taking my blue jelly roll and I'm gonna draw a star. And to draw a star, I was teaching Keenan's little girl how to do this. So I'm gonna teach you the same way I taught her. So you draw an X and then you draw another X and a line over that X. And what's cool is that you can make them various sizes. So if you draw a big X and then a small X, just makes it look like it's shimmery. Then you can add dots to those. So you just draw them in any open space you like. So you can also just make them the same size. This looks like a pretty snowflake, wintry card.
Is that a metallic jelly roll or just a regular jelly roll?
So it's the Moonlight brand, which makes sense now that I think about it, is because it works really well on black paper, which is why I picked this brand for you all. Is because some other brands don't, just their regular ones, don't show up on black. So this must have a different type of
Interesting.
pigment. So now I'm just drawing dots, gonna kind of fill it in. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Sorry, everyone. Once I'm done with, this is also really therapeutic, just drawing dots everywhere, is the last thing that you might notice is if you look at Taylor and Kyle's name, the reason why it might pop even more is the subtle line and the shadow that we are going to draw. And I know you can do this. Bless you. So if you think about it, you're going to choose a side. I mix it up every time because I just want to show you that you can do either one. Just pick a side that you're going to draw the stroke on. So I'm going to draw it on the left side. So on every stroke, I'm going to draw a line to the left. So here I'm going to draw the line to the left. And it's okay if they don't have to be on every single stroke, just to kind of get the idea. And what I'm doing is on this one, I'm leaving a little bit of space in between. So it's not hugging right up against the line. There's a little bit of space in between. So, and the cool thing is that these pens will start to show up as they dry. Who knows why, but Keenan and I love it.
We do.
So, the other thing I wanted to say is that the cool thing, and as you can see, this I would not, at least I don't think, and Keenan can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't look at that and think that that address is not centered, right?
Nope.
because you filled it in, you made it work. So that was why I wanted to prove to you that it's not worth getting paralyzed over, because it will all look good in the end. Now, the last fun step that I want to show you is flip over your envelope. We're going to add just some fun character to the back flap, because right now they're pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is I love doing this one.
They're not going to want to open the envelope.
They're going to be like, oh. No, they're going to be excited for what's inside.
That's true.
Okay, I'm going to take the scratch paper. The trick is take your envelope flap, open it, put it on a scratch piece of paper. You can take any pen. I'm using the silver brush pen. The gel pen, because it's so small, the technique might not work that I'm teaching you. So maybe find a thicker pen. It could be the Crayola Super Tips. Actually, no, that won't work because that is on black paper. I'm trying to think of another substitute.
I don't know.
If I think of something, I'll let you know, but I'm going to keep going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pen and I'm going to draw just an outline over this. So the reason why this is kind of your guard is that I'm going to overlap a little bit. So can you see how I'm overlapping the line?
Yep.
So a little bit is going over this. But that way I'm able to get the full line of that. So I'm going to flip it around. So again, I'm just pushing. So if I miss a little bit, it's okay. I'm just going to color it back in. It is very satisfying. And then you have your tuxedo.
Dang.
It would look really cool with gold too, actually, because you have the gold one.
Yeah, it
and
would
then
look sharp.
You can just do the same thing. Add your stars to the back.
So you could do half silver, half gold.
Oh, that would have been epic. Someone do that. That'll look really cool. So I'm just going to add my dots to the bottom. And then you can have them kind of spread out like I did here from there. Okay, now, the other one. This is just another fun one that you can do as well. I thought it was cool because what I did was, you'll notice that, I know that looks, I guess, if that bothers you, it doesn't bother me. But I was going to say is, I want it to be a fun technique of I'm going to overlap and draw over this envelope. So when it's closed, it looks like a cool leaf pattern. So I'm taking the same leaf pattern that we did here. I'm going to rotate this so I don't, can you see? No, I need to go over that. The flap is right here. I just don't know if that's noticeable. Is the corner, I'm going to start from the corner and I'm going to overlap over the line. So I'm not drawing just on the flap and I'm not drawing just on the back. I'm drawing on both. So it might feel a little awkward.
But it'll look great.
It'll look great. So I'm drawing my almond shapes, just kind of drawing them in different directions. Then, what I was going to say, if you would like, so it looks like that. If you want, you can even open this up and you can finish off the other side if you'd like.
Oh.
They won't see it, but when they open it, it might make it look a little bit more complete.
I am a little weird when it comes to envelopes. I rip open the side.
I know, I remember you told me that. Wait, but that's a good, so that would be
It would protect the
flap.
flap.
How do you open it from the side?
I shove my finger in the top and I rip down the side.
But what are you ripping?
The paper.
Oh, but this is but where are you?
I will find a way to do the side. You seal it, I'll open it the way I open it.
Okay, challenge accepted. Okay, so then last part is I'm going to just draw 2 stems and then add my flowers. But yes, I was going to say, if you open it from the side, then that protects it.
Yeah,
even
it'll
more.
protect the design. Sort of.
Have you ever ripped a card by doing that?
No?
Oh.
Because
Okay.
I'll show you.
Okay. Okay, well, we are done, everyone. Those are just a few fun ways I wanted to show you how you can jazz up the envelopes, you can jazz up the front, you can jazz up the back, you can do jazz hands while you're doing it.
Jazz hands.
Have so much fun Don't forget to put a stamp on it, put it in the mail. You may get a text and when the person receives it, and also you may not. I realize I've sent this is a weird thing to say. I've sent mail thinking that someone would say something, and then I realized that they received it like 2 months later and then they said something. So even if, I want to tell you, even if no one says anything, they still appreciate it, I promise. Just don't want anyone to get sad if no one says anything. Anyways, that was my little spiel. We are together. We have a few different groups you can be a part of. We have a Let's Make Art lettering, we have a Let's Make Art journaling, and we have a Let's Make Art watercolor. Facebook, I don't think I said that. Sorry, I should mention that. We also have an Instagram called Let's Go Make Art. Share your work that you create there. We'd love to see what you're making and cheer each other on. Okay, have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.